everybody.
Hello. I think we can give a better, warm reception than that. Come on.
Whew. These lights will wake you up. Oh my goodness.
Taking off the masks.
Oh, okay. Is that the preference? That's the vibe? We can do that. Thank you so much for being here on a Sunday
Thank you.
with us. It's such an...
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you all. That's the important
Yeah.
thing. I'm dealing with a earring malfunction.
Uh-oh.
As you know.
Technical difficulties.
It's fine. I definitely want to make a comment on how this stage, I don't think, can hold up this massive amount of talent that we have here.
Yeah.
How has, I don't know, I have to start this way, but like just going down from this end, if you could say in one or two words to describe your experience here so far at MomoCon.
Delightfully overwhelming.
How you doing?
That's your experience.
You are all amazing and look amazing. It's been incredible. Thank you.
Woo!
Well, that's way more than 2 words.
Oh, it's two. I had to do 2 words. You're awesome.
Delicious. Awesome. Amazing. Yes.
Yes.
Yes, absolutely.
getting
I just
upset
wanted to start off. How would you like to introduce yourselves too? Would that be a cool vibe?
Sure. I'm Jen Taylor.
Yes.
I'm with her. I'm Steve Downs.
I'm Fred Tatasciore.
Hi, I'm Zach Aguilar.
We are also waiting on Kellen too.
Yeah.
So
We might have a late.
Who?
yeah, sneaking like a naughty student late for class.
Naughty boy.
Well, let me add some additional color commentary on your roles too, because it's not just your name. For Jen, obviously you know her as Cortana in Halo, Princess Peach, Toad, and Toadette in many Mario games, and Zoe in Left 4 Dead, one of my personal favorites. Of course, for Steve, we have the hero, the legend, the myth, Master Chief.
It's fun being a myth.
I love that you're a hero, a legend, and a myth, and I'm just Cortana. I mean, it's apt, but it's also funny.
For Fred, bringing voices to life for 20 years and everything from anime, video games, to theme parks, too. That was interesting. He is Hulk in multiple Avengers games, Soldier 76 in Overwatch. Oh, yes.
Thank you.
Nikolai Belinsky in Call of Duty Black Ops.
Where is the vodka? No, none here today. Okay, sorry.
Thank you. And for Zach, of course, he is Tanjiro Kamado in Demon Slayer, which is also a video game, so this counts. So it's like I was trying to get it mixed up with anime. He is also Caleb in Pokemon Masters and Byleth in Fire Emblem.
Yes.
All right, we have such a varied cast of awesome talent here. So it was really interesting to mix and match some questions. So I think we'll start with Steve. I'll start with you.
Okay.
Yeah. First off, thank you so much for playing such a big role in both of you for playing such a big role in our childhoods. And congratulations for being involved in a gaming franchise for over 20 years. Would you share your experience of that initial experience of finding out you were going to be playing Master Chief, and did you have an inkling of the amount of impact that it would have?
Well, of course, in the beginning, there was light out of the darkness. It was that long ago. But you know, at the time, it was really just another job. There was no real indication at all that it was anything more than a job, a nice job, you know, and I was, as most voice actors are, you're happy to get any work. So all work is good work. But
You see us all bobbing, yeah.
yeah.
Sorry.
But it was, yeah, at the time, it was just I think the sessions actually were in late 2000, if I recall. And Marty O'Donnell, who did the voice casting for all the Bungie games and wrote the music, most of the music and all of that, I had done a game for him about a year earlier, a little game called Septerra Core, which I recommend nobody get. Even if you can, don't bother. But although I said that to Marty recently, and he was semi-offended by it. But I mean, it was.
Signer's right over
Yeah,
there.
yeah, exactly. How you doing? Nice to see you. Yeah, it was just another job. And Marty called me about a year later and said, you know, talked about what Halo was going to be and the character that he wanted me to play. But I had no indication that in my wildest dreams, I was shocked when they said there was going to be a Halo 2. I was like, really? Oh, what? Cool. And even more shocked that they still wanted me to do it. In fact, Marty told a story relatively recently that after the huge success of Halo 1, they were going to replace both Jen and I as other and get more famous people. You know, and believe it or not, Tom Cruise was mentioned as the voice of Master Chief.
Imagine that.
Yeah.
No,
And you know who wanted to be Cortana? Is apparently, and I don't know if you've talked to her, she'd be like, what are you talking about? But apparently Julia Roberts was going to play
Yeah.
Cortana.
So it could have been Tom Cruise and Julia Roberts sitting up here instead of us two schmucks. So sorry.
Can you imagine Julia Roberts watches this and is like, what are they talking about?
Yeah.
I think
Yeah,
we all
exactly.
agree
It's like,
we
I
would
never-
prefer to have you two here.
But, you know, yeah, thank you. Anyway, the moral of the story was, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. So the thinking was, look, we did fine with the people we had for Combat Evolved. We'll stick with them for Halo 2, and thank God they did.
That's awesome. And Jen, how would you describe your working partnership together too? It's usually longer than a singular role in a singular TV show or movie. So I imagine over time is a lot of iterations on not only Cortana as a character, but also working alongside Steve as well.
Yeah. Steve and I didn't meet until 10 years in. So we met in 2011. So we never worked together before that. And the only game that we have actually worked in the same room together is Halo 4. Because we both did booth work for, you know, up until then. And then Halo 4 was mocapped. And then we did the ADR for the mocap, the actors who did the mocap. And then since then, I've done the mocap, and you've still done booth work.
Whatever it is that I do.
So yeah, so we only worked together on Halo 4. But when we met, it felt like it was an instant kinship. We somehow just felt really connected. I was joking, telling people earlier, if you've seen any of these other panels, is that I walked up to Steve and gave him a bear hug, and I was like, you know what this is like, what this world is like, you know.
And I said, and you are?
Who are you? Get off me, crazy lady. And I think, in all honesty, we've gotten to know each other better through doing conventions together. Yeah. And that is part of our working relationship, in all honesty. And also, now we talk to each other probably 2 or 3 times a month. Yeah. Just, hey, what's up? How's your bathroom remodel? Yeah. Boring things like that.
Did you pick that faucet yet?
Yeah, get that faucet. So that's how our friendship and we also, of course, talk about work and what we're doing with the characters and what we're thinking, but so much of that comes from just being buddies.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And as I was saying to somebody else, really good editing too. Yeah. Is helpful.
Yeah.
Friendship is always really helpful as well in a working relationship like that, like understanding and sharing that empathy of where each other are at each day, each recording session, And even if you're not physically in the same place, that kind of instinctual connection too, of like, I get it, I know you where you are at. Let's work together and like get through this day, and then like you've done amazing work. Would you, Jen, be able to speak to the work for the Halo TV series, of like any comparisons or contrasts for that?
The TV series, I'm doing a performance capture for the TV series, and what we do is I do my scenes on set with the actors, and then I also do them. We divide our shoot schedule into blocks. I'm getting really technical here, but we divide them into blocks. So the first and second episode, say, is one block. The third and fourth is the second block. And at the end of each block, I go back and mocap everything again by myself, in a room by myself. And I act with microphone stands and things like that to give me eyeline. So it's a different experience because I'm doing motion capture really by myself. Even when I'm on set with people who are performing live, I'm the only one doing motion capture. And I was telling somebody today, for whatever reason, in the studio that we were working in Budapest, which is where we have shot the first season and where we're shooting the second season, we had some trouble with the wireless. And so I have a whole bunch of instrumentation on my back, and I have a lot of information coming from these little nodes all over me. And we had to use an Ethernet cable to plug in. So I had...
You were a dial-up modem.
Basically. I like to think of it as my umbilical cord, right? And there's one scene in particular where it became an issue where, if you guys have seen the show, there is a scene where Master Chief is threatening Halsey. He's going to kill Halsey, and he's trapped her in a room, and I'm trying to get him to open the door physically because I can't. And we have a moment where we walk up and down this hallway, and Pablo, the gentleman who's playing Master Chief in the series, had to keep hopping basically over my Ethernet cable. Because if he stepped on it, he'd just stop me, So we had little technical things like that. So, but it's still, it feels similar. The world feels, similar to me. So, and it's being, most of the people that I'm interacting with, are people from 343. So it feels like we're in the same world.
Yeah, family, familiar setting.
Yeah.
That's helpful too when you have a set of familiar context and information and circumstances. So when you do tackle something new, you're like, okay, I can ground myself on what I know.
Right.
And then explore.
That which I don't.
Yes.
Yeah.
In a safe environment and make mistakes, iterate, and really improve upon that.
Yeah.
Thank you so much. Fred, hello.
Hello.
I read in a...
Halo? No.
Halo.
Sorry.
We allow it. I read in a past interview that growing up, creating voices gave you that sense of comfort as a shy kid. Can you explain a little bit about that experience and that journey?
Sure. Okay, how do I begin? My dad had a tape recorder that I used. Back in the day, we would record on these tapes. We gave the Kaiser what for, I'll tell you what. And recording penny whistles. No, and I'd record all sorts of voices, and then I used to try to make my own little show, and it was like my way of. It was great for a latchkey kid, a lot of time, by yourself, and and it was enjoyable, and I used to love to just try on voices and stay with them, which sounds insane, actually. Like I would really go to a place and just try to be British or whatever for as I got older, and I realized that's a lie. Like that's like a crazy, you know what I mean? Like that's like, because you're gonna meet people that you're gonna see later, and you're like, I'm sorry, I'm just kidding. I have a problem. So I would do a lot of that just for entertainment and fun, and now I got to be careful. You can't make as many prank calls or whatever. Like I used to, my friends, I used to do terrible things. But yeah, it really helps you get through. And I guess growing up, I really felt like this gray blob like a shapeshifter, just trying to figure out who I was. I don't know why I didn't like who I was. I didn't know who I was, and it was so much easier to find a mask. I guess this is an actor with everybody.
Yeah, right.
I think that's shared, but I just took it really extreme, and I would I didn't realize until now, like what I was doing. Now that I'm further along in life and looking back going, I guess I was just trying on all these faces and these voices, and I'm always fascinated by sounds and people's dialects, and everybody's voice is so interesting to me, and so I would try to match it. The problem is you got to be careful though, because if you're doing impressions, which I love to do, you got to realize you're not making fun of that person. That's the problem, because you'd have someone come up and like, hey Fred, I heard you do me. I heard it, do it. You know, you're like, oh, no. You know. I could get in trouble though. For years, I'd get on the microphone at school, the PA, and pretend I was the principal. And I'd tell people they could go home, and then I'd see the principal marching up the stairs, and I'm running, and my friends they're like, I don't know what happened. Some guy just came in, and then he found at the end, he found out. It was me, but he was so cool about it, because he's like, I need Fred Tatasciore to come up here and do my voice. I was like, you know, and it was okay. It was all right, and I told everyone to be quiet.
You were shy, but a prankster.
Yeah, it was a little bit of I was like a quiet class clown. Like, you know, I was sneaky about
Was
it.
he like, and impressive?
No, he was fine. That's all right. Sit down. That's good. Yeah, he was a New York guy. But it was really, yes, I think I just really enjoyed doing it. Now I realize I'm just doing this for my life, you know, and I realized that's okay. Yeah. But growing up, it was a real strange, it gave me a lot of solace, yeah.
That's amazing. As a fellow, shy kid, introvert too,
Very
I feel like understanding the nuances of dialogue of the people around you is kind of how you start picking up like, oh, this is how I understand, or like how I may try to belong to. It may be like a skill set for maybe not survival, but just like this is how it's supposed to be. And that type of sensitivity or awareness, it sounds like it's become your superpower too, of that deep level of understanding. Yeah,
I thank you. That's kind of what I didn't know it was going to go there. It was just a mechanism. It was coping for me. you know, so. And it was sad though, because at one end, because I didn't want to be who I was. So I was always thinking I had to be something else, or what I was told to be. I think most kids go through, a lot of kids go through that. And now it's funny because I got a kid, and nothing scares him because I've been using every voice on him. You know, even when he was a baby, I was like, and now I will change your diaper. You know, they would have called services on me, and he's laughing. You know, I'm like, now baby, I was doing probably the elite character. We fight all the time, by the way, in Halo. But I would be like, now I will bring this, and he laughs, and now I do stuff, and he's like, okay, I want daddy now, like a regular voice. He doesn't want clowning around, and now he's doing voices and telling me, and he's directing me. Like, no, not that one, the lower one. You're the zebra.
Whoa, the
You're
audacity.
Zebra. He's 30. No, he's
Does your son have a talk back? I mean, it's like, yeah, Fred, that was great, but we need another take.
Sorry, Father.
Yeah, Dad, real good. But listen, bring it down a notch.
Oh yeah, Dad, you're too loud. Yeah. Oh yeah, no, I'm not kidding. If he would, he could
have a talk back.
He would totally have a talk back. And like I'm reading a story, he's like, no, not that one, the other voice, the other guy. You know, I'm like, oh, sorry. And he's really, and I even saw him be patient about it, like a director. Like I was doing one voice, and he's like, no, Daddy. It was like Hail Caesar, that director scene. Like, no. But I just remember, I'm like, really, you're placating me right now? It was so cute. He's like,
funny.
No, Dad, that's not the voice, but it's okay. Yeah.
I love that your son treats you like this, like a jukebox.
Oh yeah. Oh yes. Oh, by the way,
This one.
if you have kids or nieces, anything, call and response is the greatest thing. But I let him kick it off, so he goes, and I have to go, and we do call and response. And it is the coolest way to connect. Because it's just like, it sounds crazy, but it's like, he'll come up with all these sounds and iterations, and you just try to match it. And it gives them power too. Because like, oh, he's gonna copy me. I'm always telling him how to say stuff, he's gonna have to tell me. You know what I mean? It's kind of fun. Yeah. Highly recommended, call and response. Cool. And
Zach, would you say that was a similar kind of childhood experience yourself? Were you a shy kid? Did that kind of factor into your current career in any way?
Yeah. Before I get into it, I just want to say, like, I have been a fan of these guys, like, my entire life, so it's so cool to be
you're
up here.
starstruck too.
I don't know. I know Steve already knows I'm a fanboy, but I have played every single Halo game in the series. You know, my mom brought home an Xbox when I was, like, 7 years old, and my dad never my mom never forgave my dad for that. Yes, that is the right thing. It was the worst thing ever, but it was the best thing ever for me. Yes, I've been playing like all the games, everything, and it's kind of like, what sort of set me on this journey. To kind of get into it, I used to play on Xbox Live. I think like Halo 2 came out. I get on Xbox Live in the microphone. I'm like, I don't know, just like, hey guys, how's it going? Shut up, kid. I would hear that a lot. A lot of very mean things were said to me. And one day, I think I was just kind of like, they used to have a voice changer that you could buy and like, throw on your Xbox Live microphone, and it would completely change your voice, but it sounded so artificial. It was like obviously like really affected. And as I got older, and I still like was talking like this. All right, guys, let's go capture the flag. Get to the red base. Come on. I'll go through, the right, left, whatever. I'm making call outs or whatever, and I already always expect the worst thing. So I was thinking about it one day. I was like, what if I changed my voice a little bit and I talked to these people? And so one time I got on the microphone, and instead of being like, hey, guys, how's it going? I said,
hey, what's up? How you guys doing? Okay, you want to go to Red Base?
All of a sudden, everyone's like, oh, yeah, dude. I'm like, yeah, I'll go over there, and I'm like, and I'm using a lower voice, and people, it's so weird. It's like all of a sudden, they're like, treating me like a human being. Like, they respect me. I'm like giving call outs, telling my teammates what to do. This is what you guys are gonna do. You're gonna go get the rocket launcher. You're gonna go get the power weapon. Go battle for that. I'm gonna sneak around the left side, go get the flag. We're gonna figure this out. And so I kind of like developed this weird like lower range by doing that, and I use it sometimes to this day. Luckily, that is not what I book a lot of my work off of, because that would hurt after doing that for 4 hours straight. But yeah, I don't know. I was an interesting kid. I think I kind of grew up sort of shy, but I would, say a bunch of stuff online that I probably shouldn't say today. You kind of had to.
Well, it also sounded like you were iterating upon the reactions that you get from the people around you. Like even if you're playing with someone online too, and that's how you kind of refine and tweak, and also kind of develop this understanding of like, oh, this is the tone and voice and the pitch and the cadence for people to take me seriously or perceive me a certain way, which is kind of a superpower, too. And you bring that into your role.
Oh yeah, I mean, I don't know. We just had fun with it. Like there was all sorts of stuff. I think it was an interesting time to think back to now that I get to read some of these more comedic scripts, or just to kind of look for the timing and think back to these funny moments that used to happen just as I played games and stuff with friends as a kid. One of the things we would always say is we would all get in an online party chat together, and sometimes people would mess with one another and say something along the lines of, hey, what does Woody say in Toy Story? And if you haven't heard it, they'll say, there's a snake in my boot. And right as you say boot, you kick them from the party. And so I don't know. There's a bunch of weird random
You were also
things.
a prankster. These are all fun-loving.
Yeah, no, we have fun with it. But I think it's just been cool to kind of grow up surrounded by games, and now to have such an amazing opportunity to be a part of some of these games, like Genshin Impact and Super Smash Brothers, Fire Emblem. I mean, like it's insane to me. So I worked on Fire Emblem Three Houses, and when I got the call for Smash Brothers, everything is really top secret for Super Smash Brothers. Like they really try not to tell you anything. They actually lied to me. They lied to my agent, and they said this is for Fire Emblem DLC. They didn't say specifically like this is for Smash Brothers. So when I went in and I recorded it, halfway through the recording session, I see them delivering the little letter or whatever, and I said, hang on a sec. What
Wait a
is
minute.
this? and they're just laughing. You know, you look through the glass, I see the director, I see the engineer, I see Patrick Seitz there, and he's just cracking up. And I'm like, this is for Smash. It's like, oh yeah, it's for Smash. He's like, yep, you got it. And so I just couldn't even believe it. I'm like, he's gonna be the next character. I was so excited. The rest of the internet wasn't, because my most liked tweet and also my most hated tweet at the same time. A lot of people they did not want another Fire Emblem character, but I was stoked. I'm still stoked. You know, nothing could bring down my happiness for being a part of that game, because I grew up playing it, and I couldn't help but message every single elementary school friend that I could remember and say, I'm in Smash Brothers. Woo! Yeah.
I love that you shared that too, because we see the characters that you play in the visual aspect, but you all play such an important role that you should be bragging this with your friends and loved ones and understand the impact that you have, the emotions that you portray, and how it touches all of us too. We have a couple minutes before I want to open up for audience Q&A. Who wants to ask a question soon? Okay, I want to make sure we have time for that too. So I wanted to round out and ask this final question to everybody here, starting with you, Jen, of which character have you played would you think would have best weathered the pandemic?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, so many of them.
Yeah,
but
they're
like,
pretty good, but-
yeah, I mean, all of my characters in Dota 2 would be like, whatever, pandemic, whatever. But I'm just gonna go with Zoe, because she's dealing with
Thank you.
a pandemic of sorts,
Yeah.
in Left 4 Dead. If you don't know, okay. All right.
I'm here. Thank you so much. I appreciate it.
Yeah.
Left 4 Dead was all of my high school.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's I think that yes, it's a zombie apocalypse, just really quickly, but also it's about survival, finding the small things to get you going through the day, which I think is a valuable lesson for all of us. And so thank you for that.
Yeah, it's also about finding a family outside
Unexpected.
of your actual, an unexpected family, right? Like
Yeah.
people you don't expect to be your people.
Yeah, understanding your different strengths and weaknesses and just being there for each other.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Steve,
What was the question again?
which character have you played would you think would have best survived the pandemic?
Let's see, of all the characters I've played.
You know, it could be maybe your radio personality.
Oh, he would definitely not have survived. Or maybe he would have thrived, I don't know.
Or you know what? Which Halo game
iteration?
version of Master Chief? Because he also does go through character like growth, development, changes.
Well, look, the chief would have made it through the pandemic. I don't think there's much
In
question
general,
about
yes.
that. He's faced much tougher foes.
And he wears a face mask.
Yeah, and hello.
Made it cool before it was cool.
Yeah, right?
Yeah, ain't nothing getting through that Mjolnir, so not even COVID. Yeah, I mean, I suppose, Halo, in a very general sense, could serve as some sort of metaphor for that time. I might go to Halo 4 as an example of unexpected change, unwanted change, isolation,
Challenges.
and understanding the importance of and value of relationships, which is kind of what he and Cortana went through in Halo 4. So I think I'd go with that.
Excellent answer. Fred, I saw you like.
That's hard. I think most of them, my guys, would get it, but they deal with it. Like I think Hulk would be socially distanced. He likes to be socially distant. But he'd probably get it and not even know about it. I'm sorry. It's okay. Damon Baird, Gears, he would have probably freaking got it, But it's all right. You're going to build a robot, whatever. Same with Jack Morrison. Soldier 76 might have dealt with it, but he would have healed up, damn it. But I think the guy, and I think Nikolai would not have done anything and not got sick. I think he would be like, why is everyone getting sick? I don't understand. It's okay. Come on, bring the monkey. I don't know. What's the problem? I think Nikolai may have survived, not known really why.
That was a marvelous tour. Thank you.
Yes,
Yeah.
it was. It was.
That was a great tour.
It was like flipping through a TV channel on
Yeah,
the spot.
that was awesome.
And also, thank you for giving us 4 to 5 answers, you overachiever. Rule breaker. Zach?
Yeah, you know, I was gonna say Ether because he's like an alien, so maybe, I don't know, virus doesn't apply to him, but also I did play another character, young Nier in Nier Replicant. If anybody has ever seen that, I think that out of all of the characters, he would probably have the drive to, I don't know, to fight through it and find a way to just like, yeah, I mean, maybe like his sister, like in the game, you know, Yona gets sick and he has to try to go on this crazy journey to save her. And that's really like his sole purpose for doing everything. And he's still really kind at heart, trying to help other people with their problems. I think he would be an interesting choice. I mean, it was surreal to work on that during the pandemic because literally in the game, like, you know, they have the black scrawl and it's like, you know, killing people. And I was like, wow, this is so like real. Like, what is happening? This is interesting. It was a lot of fun though to work with the guys over there at Square, and yeah, they really, you know, killed it with the writing. I guess I will say that. You know, he says his thing. I don't remember all of his lines, but he says something along the lines of like, "I will save Yona," and you know, he goes through his whole little journey. Yeah.
I love that, and the parallel with the real world too, and kind of seeing that weird, oh, it's kind of similar what we're going through, and that I can see how that influences your work too.
It was crazy. That's what the guys were saying too. They're like, at the end of the credits, we should say this was recorded in like 2020 or something. You know.
Oh, the disclaimer.
They should put that on there.
Oh, well, thank you so much for sharing that thoughtful, you know, and relevant question. Are y'all ready for some audience Q&A? All right. We have, oh, you guys are very quick.
Answer is 42. Preemptive strike.
Reminder for asking your questions, make sure that they're concise, appropriate, no marriage proposals.
Trying to avoid math. No, sorry.
Yes.
No,
please.
yeah.
At all costs.
So go ahead.
That's why we're in this.
Okay, my question's for Jen Taylor.
Yeah.
How would you? I feel like it's getting more complicated to tell the difference between like a voice that's like just you doing a different voice or like a voice that's been digitally altered. Because I believe, I'm not a Halo guy, but I believe Cortana, Halo has like a effect added to her voice, if I recall correctly. And then there's maybe Salem that's just like you doing a different voice, and then there's Cortana Windows, which I think is just a synthetic version of your voice. How does somebody tell the difference between all of that?
I don't think they're doing anything to my voice in Halo.
Okay.
I mean, my normal voice is a lot higher, you know,
Okay.
I think, than Cortana. Actually, we with the reg, I just have to go down. But I don't think they're actually doing anything too different with it, though. Somebody else can fight me about that. If you want to fight, I'll fight you.
That's how it all goes down.
Yeah, that's yeah. But we wanted to know how the
Yeah, like Salem, I guess, is just you doing a different voice. I don't hear too much.
Salem is just slower and deeper and angrier. Right? I mean, that's, yeah, no,
Okay.
we're not doing too much to change my voice.
It's all natural, is what she's saying.
No.
Awesome, thank you.
Yeah, sure.
Hello. So before Minecraft Steve and Banjo-Kazooie came out as DLC for Smash, it was pretty obvious that some Microsoft IP was going to kind of cross over. I was convinced, half jokingly, it would be Master Chief. But my question, I guess, would be, which of the characters that you voiced would you like to see in Smash, if any of them? And for the two voice actors who have characters that are already in Smash, what other character would you like to see?
Such an inclusive question.
I play a little character in Dota 2 called Puck. If anybody knows, and that would be a funny one to see in Smash.
Yeah, let's go with the chief. Why not?
I'm over here like I was along with the rest of the internet like put Master Chief in Smash. Come on, like I want to see it. Everybody thinks it's a meme. I'm like, please, it's not a meme.
I know, right? Yeah.
Sora made it. Anything's possible.
That's right. That's right.
I would love a Hulk smash.
Yes.
Of course.
Thank you, guys.
You.
Those answers could be summarized in a tweet and just sent straight to.
Mine might be a little bit more. So starting to dabble a little in voice acting, doing auditions and stuff. How did you guys get your start? Any theater backgrounds? And for somebody who doesn't have a theater background, would that translate to today trying to break into the oversaturated market?
Start over there because you are the person who has broken in the most recently, I think. So you probably have the best advice, in all honesty.
Absolutely.
It is interesting. I will say when I was like 13 or 14 years old, so like a year ago, in all seriousness, I was just an extremely motivated kid. Like this was literally all I wanted to do was to voice act. I played a lot of video games and watched a lot of anime. I begged my parents for voice acting classes. I listened to 200 episodes of Crispin Freeman's podcast. I read Yuri Lowenthal and Tara Platt's book. I was all over the internet looking up every single path possible to break into the industry. I learned all of the top agencies in LA. I learned agents that were outside of LA for like commercial work and different things like that. I took a voice acting class to learn how to do like dubbing work. So that kind of helped me figure out my timing, how to like time things, because for ADR you need to have very good timing, and that was one of the skills that I. Exactly.
Sorry, that's
yes.
the code. That's
and
what
then
you get.
and then you say your line. So I did some live action dubbing. After taking a class with a studio in Los Angeles, and they threw me in, some just random parts, and random dude dying from, funny enough, I think a pandemic, and so that was one of the first things I did. I just kept knocking on a bunch of doors. I took a lot of classes. I even got a demo reel done, and so, sorry, I'm kind of like going all over the place with this, but what I'm saying is, in my opinion, I feel like I kind of tried a lot of different paths, and I just kept trying different things to see what was gonna work. And I got a demo reel done. I sent it off to a bunch of people, like a lot of people, and only one company responded, and that was Pandora Radio. And then it took them a full year to respond to my email. And then they responded, and then I went on to do like 300 commercials with them for over the course of like a couple years. I mean, they just kept, asking me, we have a like Target ad, we got a Walmart thing, we got a Verizon thing. And they just kept throwing me, yeah, and I'm also one of the Happy Honda dealers now. So I did that, but I really wanted to voice in like anime and video games. Long story short is, I was knocking on I looked up some of the studios. I would look up, games, my own favorite games, and look up what studio does this. Oh, this one's done by Cup of Tea Productions. This one's done by Bang Zoom Entertainment. Oh, this one was recorded at Studiopolis. Okay, so maybe there's like an email or something that I can contact. Just be very polite about it and not like, hound them and just send a demo and, I don't know, see if something happens with it. And so I did that, and I wasn't really getting a whole lot of bites, so I went to an anime convention in 2014, and I auditioned for a voice acting competition that was being done by one of the studios. I ended up winning the competition, and that's how I got my first small role in like an anime, and then it just kind of like snowballed from there. And then, that's how I met a director. A director walked me into his agency. I ended up leaving that agent because it wasn't working out for me. And then I went and found another agent. Left that agent, that wasn't working out for me, and now I'm finally with, my agent that I feel like works the best for me. So I went a lot of different paths. Sorry, this was a ramble.
I think sorry, I don't want to stop your applause. No. I think one of the first and best things to do is to actually take an acting class, like a beginning acting class, even if you just want to do voiceover.
Yeah.
Because you need to understand what a director might be asking of you and what these, terms mean, which is very good. And take a beginning voiceover class, which is also helpful, just to get, we all now have access to microphones, right? It's a little easier. Back in the day, we didn't. Our old man voices hang out together.
All right, we should.
They play chess, don't they? Anyway, so I think, taking beginning classes is just a great way to figure out what people might want from you, so that you don't walk into a room feeling like, I don't know what I'm doing here, and I'm feeling awkward. So you know how close to get to the mic, how to use it, what an engineer expects of you. Little things like that can help you get your start doing voiceovers, I think.
Yeah, starting one on Thursday, so.
Sorry?
Starting one on Thursday.
Oh, great.
Oh,
there
good.
you go.
So-
You're
Thank
already,
you.
you're already getting
Because
into it.
that's- And
Good luck.
By the way, I
acting
think,
classes-
are we recording this session? Because if we are, I'd like to isolate Zach's answer. And every time somebody asks me that question, which is a lot, I'm just
Just
going
link
to play
straight
back
to
what he said.
that soundbite.
it's the What He Said program.
Yeah.
I know there's so many things you can do like with voiceover, and sometimes I forget to just say that acting classes. It didn't come from nowhere. Like I did theater as a kid, and I did on camera as well. I did a little bit of on camera, and I trained it on camera. And I feel like for some of these theatrical reads and stuff, having that loud and projected voice, doing certain theatrical things, I've taken from that and put into my voiceover performances, and same with the on-camera stuff, very cinematic reads. I've taken that and put that into my voiceover performances. Do every single form of acting that you possibly can.
Yeah, you do everything.
Right.
Yeah.
Improv, singing, and the big thing too with the acting class too is learning how to build a character. How to take on a character, and also how that character serves in the piece, but also how to be directed. Be directable. That's one of the biggest things, and don't take it personally. Oh, I thought I had a great idea for this thing, and they're like, no, we want you to exactly the opposite would be great. You have to be like, okay, opposite. All right. You sure you don't want you don't want to do the whole no, the way I'm doing it's really right, director. No, you don't want to do that. You know that. Yeah.
What's your question?
Okay. I was wondering if you guys have ever played any of the games you're in, and if so, which one's your favorite?
Which games are our favorite?
Yeah.
My favorite game is Mrs. Pac-Man.
All right, then you remember Battle Zone? Huh? There we go. We're going back to the
Hold on.
Or the
people.
Star Wars arcade game. You know that arcade? That was so great. I loved that one.
You shot polygons. Yeah, sorry.
All right, I'll see your Pac-Man and raise you a Pong.
I was playing Pong too.
In the beginning.
I played Pong too. It just wasn't my favorite. That's great. Yeah. Right?
And by the way,
Yeah.
the only video game I could actually play.
Absolutely. I know.
Oh
So
man.
good. No, there's too many.
I really liked, of course, Halo 3, one of my favorites, and Kingdom Hearts 2.
So good. Yeah.
Okay.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, thank you for being here, by the way. And quick comment on the Xbox Live. I always referred to that voice masking as demonic Microsoft Sam.
Oh yeah, you know exactly what I was talking about.
Yeah.
That voice changer where you turn it on, and all of a sudden it's like, "Hey guys, how's it
How
going?"
you doing?
Hey guys, how's it going?
Exactly. But anyways, my question is, when you have very emotional scenes that you know the full context behind that you're voice acting, are you pulling more from your personal experiences to get the emotion you're trying to evoke for the scene, or more method acting where you're pulling from the character itself?
Are you method or technique?
Oh
Yes,
wow.
no.
Yeah,
Technical.
I think sometimes if there is something that I see happening in the scene that I can relate to, even if it's something very small, I'll try to pull from, something that I have related to, or maybe my character, I don't know, is injured or something, or maybe he's left out of something, and then I kind of pull from every single time that I've ever felt left out. But
Slowly.
How many numbers are you hoping to get after this?
But
Sorry.
yeah, no. Like I definitely. I mean, I try to, do everything I can to immerse myself in the characters. Sometimes maybe they have like music or something from the game or the show or whatever it is I'm working on. I'll be like, can I hear some of the music too that's going to be playing like during this scene or whatever? And I'm like, okay, cool. So I kind of know where this is going to go. And it depends. Like it is hard sometimes with these scripts because we get them like the day of. I'm like, oh. Like, wow, I have this whole emotional scene. My sister dies, and he's sobbing over a bed over his sister that he's worked so hard to save, and now she's dead. Like, I mean, he goes on this whole journey, and in the end, it's for nothing. Like, I mean, how would you feel? That would kind of suck. So try to.
That's like rough start for like a 9 a.m.
Yeah, it's like, oh,
then
what?
you're
Like,
dead.
it's a 9 a.m. session. Yeah, like just get your coffee. You're like, okay, yeah, screaming, crying, have fun.
Yeah, that's your morning.
Dig deep.
That's a Tuesday. It's fun. I agree. You do everything, anything it takes. I would say definitely for the life, death, sadness, the big things is definitely going to be drawn, for me, is from experience. As long as you use stuff you've processed, you know what I mean? If you start using stuff that's like really fresh and then you gotta be happy all of a sudden, you're still like, I'm still thinking about my cat. But yeah, you definitely use those things. Sometimes you have to generate, something that might be a little foreign to you if you're not used to, you have to kind of imagine things. If you've never been in war, for example, you're gonna have to, try to generate that for yourself, and hopefully, you've done research or you talk to people who have been enough to you can really have something realistic to go on. Right. But I'd say the emotional stuff, yeah, definitely grabbing from experience.
Yeah, and certainly for me, it's personal experience because for me, if I'm not doing that, then I'm probably imitating, and imitating is not I don't know, maybe sometimes imitation works, but when we were doing Halo Combat Evolved, my direction that Marty gave me was Clint Eastwood. And he said, think of Clint Eastwood in the old spaghetti westerns for a few dollars more, fistful of dollars. So in the beginning, I was imitating Clint Eastwood. I was talking, back here in the throat like this, and sort of doing that. And realizing, no, he doesn't want you to sound like Clint Eastwood. He wants you to act like him, act like his character, a man of few words, all that. And so then it becomes moving from imitation to try to get to the heart of who the character is, and let that come out in whatever way it's going to come out.
I don't know that I have anything else to say that is revelatory. I mean, I try not to take from my personal life because I'm afraid that's going to taint things in a funny way for me and be difficult. And trying to do the best. My experience of being a human, is what I do use, and trying to find myself in these situations that I get stuck in, but. Playing a computer, I don't have any personal experience doing that. Weirdly, like
It's fair.
So.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you.
Hello.
Hi.
So my question is for Steve and Jen. I believe many of us as Halo fans remember the day when Bungie decided to leave Halo and then 343 Industries decided to pick it up, which as a fan scared me a little bit because I didn't know if the production value of anything was going to change from what I loved about Halo, Combat Evolved, and so forth. I'm curious, did the experience change at all, or did it affect your experience voicing those characters being under Bungie versus under 343 Industries?
Well, it was the second time we almost lost the gig, because 343 was definitely not only was going to replace us, they did replace us. Both Jen and I were. There were other people who were voicing those characters, and it was the fans who. Because they, beta test games and in some of the early phases of that, the overwhelming reaction they got was, that's not Master Chief and that's not Cortana. They look like him, but that's not who they are. So we sort of, this was unbeknownst to us at the time, but it was the second, so we got another chance to do the character. And then from then on, for me personally, it was actually, 343 was, and the people that I worked with were more inclusive. Because one of the things, and Zach mentioned that, why improv classes are so important to, if you're studying voiceover, because so often you get the script, at least for an audition, sometimes you get it 5 minutes before you're supposed to do it. And so you have to be able to, draw on some characters, or attitude or whatever it is, you're, pretty quick. With, going to, that place, I completely lost.
Halo 4, we got the full
Completely
script,
lost my-
is what he was going to say.
No.
You're going to say for Halo 4, we got the full script, so that
Right.
was nice. We got to read the whole thing.
Thank you, Jen.
Which
Cortana, ladies and gentlemen.
well,
It actually happens in real life.
which very
Cortana.
rarely, in my experience,
computer.
rarely happens. I mean, I don't often get the full script. Anymore, when you're doing performance capture, I don't know about you guys, you do, or sometimes you just get the scene.
Yeah.
And you're like, okay, this is placed somewhere in the middle, right? I think. So that was a breath of fresh air. But each time, I feel like each time we recorded, there would be somebody else different there. There'd be a new person there. We'd meet new people. So it was always sort of changing. Always a cast of, good, lovely characters to hang out with and play with, but always sort of different. Marty was kind of a through line in the first few.
Right.
But other than that, it was, it was all different each time. And so you were learning to speak a new language with these different people each time you went in. And that's what your job is, right? So, yeah.
Thank you so
Yeah.
much.
Well, hey.
Well, hey.
I guess primarily for Mr. Steve and Miss Jen here, but anybody else can answer. I know that you two are both on Cameo. I'm unfamiliar if you guys are as well. But I was just going to ask about if you guys enjoy doing fan work or voicing fan-created content or playing your characters sort of extracurricular outside of the studio, but just for people, individuals, or for fan projects or things like that.
We're not really supposed to do that, is the answer.
Yeah.
But is it fun when you do?
But
In this hypothetical situation.
But we don't do that.
Yes. Yeah. I believe the answer is usually something like, the team would prefer that you run this by us first, but I don't think I've ever done one, a fan, and what Jen said. I mean, we don't own the character, and so I've seen some great stuff, fan-produced stuff, but I don't think I've contributed.
No, I've never done. I've never done that. I mean, I've done a couple cameos to raise some money, and people had me announce their podcast, but that's all I've done. Yeah, we'd get in trouble. We'd get in trouble for that. I think we're all nodding.
Yeah, that's all what they said. Yes, true. I will say, it's funny what people ask you to do sometimes, like what they've asked Soldier to say, like, could you just really bitch me out, to say this, especially in England, call me this, yeah, you can run it by the team. Sometimes it's okay. I'm like, oh, can I do this as an anti, bully bashing thing, or can we make it a PSA, but you have to run it by people. You can't do, even if I spoof a character, I have to run it by. If I'm doing Hulk on Family Guy, I have to be like, is this okay that I'm doing this? What's the joke? They have to be in on it. But the opposite is great when you see fan art and see what they've done. The whole dad meme for Soldier 76 came from fans. You see, so I started off as like, he's just going to be, again, Clint Eastwood. But like, it was like, he's like a really good captain for his team. He's trying to look out. I saw him as a coach, but then it became like, everyone's like, Dad this, Dad that, and all the art that came back would have been, oh, he's Dad. It's just, it works. So, but that's an unusual. Overwatch is different that way. It's very fan-driven, more than any other game I've worked on, because you wouldn't do that, but this is like, oh yeah, you like that character? Let's go this direction,
I was actually asked to do an episode of Robot Chicken.
Yeah.
Ooh.
As Cortana, and of course I passed it by, and they were like, please don't do that.
Oh,
like,
really?
Yeah, no, they wouldn't let me. Yeah. Please don't do that.
That's interesting. Okay, wow, yeah.
That would have been
So
interesting.
you don't want to, blow it.
Biting the hand that feeds you.
Yeah.
Well, thank you for all you're allowed to do.
Thank you.
Hello.
Hi.
I was wondering, outside of the voices you guys do for video games and anime, are there any voices you guys really like to do or impersonate?
So many. Just the next one.
Yeah, right.
I like going against. I love comedy. I love to just do a range of, different, maybe higher end voices. I've always wanted. The thing is, I get that question a lot, and I've always wanted to try, the Joker. Right, but the thing is like, am I just going to be doing Mark Hamill? At that point, okay, because there's so many versions of that are so great. But yeah, things like that, sure. I think we all have stuff we'd love to try.
I want to play like the female version of Chief. I want to be the badass who's taking names. You know what I mean?
That's on. Yeah.
This is sort of a 6 degrees of separation example. I was talking about this yesterday. I love doing narration for documentaries. I don't do many of them, mainly because I'm not asked. Anyway, sidebar. But I just enjoy, I would depend on the subject and all that, but I enjoy doing it. And one of my favorite voiceover narrators is Liev Schreiber, who is the half-brother of Pablo Schreiber, who plays Master Chief in the Halo series. So I just thought it's sort of this weird kind of thing. But Liev Schreiber, in addition to being a great actor, is, I think, a marvelous narrator. He does a lot of stuff on PBS and that kind of thing. I just love his style. I want to be him.
You want to be him?
I want to be Liev. Can you talk to Pablo about that?
I'll ask him.
Okay.
Oh, wow. I don't know. I mean,
narration.
Yeah. I just want to be in Avatar: The Last Airbender. I will take one role, and that is the Cabbage Man's great grandson. My cabbages!
Thank you. I have to say, I actually also tried to get into Red versus Blue, and they were like, "We're not sure how we would put you in this." And I was like, "Can I be like a dog running by?"
Did you get a chance to talk to the Rooster Teeth folks while they were here?
Not this time around. But no, I remember saying to Bernie, like, "Can I just play something, like a dog or something?" And he's like, "Jen, again, I'm not sure how we make that."
That's gonna work. That's hilarious.
Anyway.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, I think you'll be our last question. We are at the
Alrighty,
top
well,
of the hour. Thank you
I
so
was
much for
wondering
your
if you need more
Ms.
questions,
Taylor
come by the table.
has ever said a full sentence as Peach before?
Sorry, what was the question?
I was wondering if you've ever said a full sentence as Princess Peach before, because I know Peach says mostly just Mario or.
Well, if you consider "I'm the best" to be a full sentence.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Or
This is
me.
I've never really heard Peach say a full sentence before.
No, she's not entirely verbose. None of them are,
Yeah, none of
really.
them
It's mostly just,
That was it.
No full sentences.
All right, everyone, please put your hands together and thank our wonderful guests.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you so much. And with this being the last day, we hope this isn't the last time that we see you or you here again. I hope you all come back next year. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
Thanks, everybody.
Thanks, guys, for coming.